to the Falmouth police station, where a report was made. An investigation was launched, resulting in Hemmings being arrested and charged. Police further revealed that Hemmings, who had previously participated in an overseas work program, was convicted overseas for molesting a 13-year-old girl, serving more than 5 years in prison before being released in 2024. Hemmings is scheduled to appear before the Trelawney Parish Court later this week. Meanwhile, police in St. Elizabeth have launched a manhunt for a man who allegedly shot and injured his girlfriend, a police constable, during a domestic dispute on Saturday night. The incident occurred at a residence in Howard Acres, Nain, shortly after 8 o'clock. Reports indicate that the female constable, who is attached to the Ferry police station, was at home with her boyfriend when an argument reportedly developed. During the dispute, the man is said to have removed the officer's licensed firearm from her handbag, pointed it at her and opened fire, hitting her multiple times before fleeing the scene. An alarm was raised and officers from the Santa Cruz police station responded. The wounded officer was rushed to hospital where she was treated. Detectives have confirmed that a manhunt is now underway for the suspect, who remains on the run. His identity has not yet been released. Now, on Friday, the Poor Relief Department of the KSAMC celebrated Jamaica Day at the Denham Town Golden Age Home, catering to more than 80 people from 4 different shelters with a celebration of Jamaican culture. Acting Inspector of the Poor at the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Donna Gay Brady, says there are 20 shut-ins who were unable to participate owing to work and school. Ms. Brady says those in school are excelling despite their circumstances.
Well, school-wise, a number of them are performing well. I would say that we have a few who even completed their certification through HEART recently and should be graduating. They would have gone out to do work experience at hotels, and we have other individuals enrolled in tertiary institutions at the moment.
Now, more than 1,000 residents in eastern Westmoreland have benefited from the Jamaica Public Service Company's Connect Fair in Beeston Spring over the weekend. The initiative offered free rewiring, electricity reconnection, document replacement, and medical services to people impacted by Hurricane Melissa. JPS Customer Solutions Director Leroy Reed says the company is committed to helping displaced customers reconnect and rebuild.
Hello Jamaica, my name is Leroy Reed. I'm the Director of Customer Solutions here at JPS. Since the passage of the hurricane, JPS has been actively restoring customers all across the country. Now we know that in Western Jamaica, this area in particular has been the hardest hit. So what we've been doing is that we have been engaging communities, helping them with critical support services as we build back the network so their lives can be restored. Today we are in Beeston Spring, Westmoreland in a Community Connect Fair, and we are exposing our customers to the critical services provided by state agencies to help them get their lives back together in an environment of fun where the family can have a good time.
The Trelawney Municipal Corporation's drop-in centre in Falmouth continues to serve as a lifeline for the parish's homeless and vulnerable population. While the facility is providing critical daily support, officials say managing the growth number of users with mental health challenges is becoming increasingly difficult. More from Carla Ramdeen.
Government Desmond Mackenzie says one of the main concerns at the Falmouth Drop-In Centre and other health centres is the number of individuals arriving with mental health challenges who need to be stabilised. He explained that he witnessed a case in Santa Cruz with a young man who became violent with a staff member.
The young man, if you can give him Pepsi Cola as often as you can, you keep him quiet. But if he can't get the Pepsi, he becomes very violent. And there's a case, one of the staff that was struck by him on her breast. She had to seek medical attention.
Minister Mackenzie argues that the law does not allow staff to separate individuals solely based on mental health status, which means careful management and monitoring are essential to ensure the safety of everyone at the facility.
The law will allow us to separate them because you can't treat them as if they're not like ordinary people. So they have to be in the same residence in the facilities that we don't know. And I'm really serious when I say to the officer that if you have persons who are fighting, and if the police come and speak to them and they continue, we have to put them out of the facility. People can't say that I'm difficult when I say that, because people will have my head. If somebody is badly injured by one of these persons, they're going to ask, so why you have them in there?
He says he will be meeting with the Ministry of Health and Wellness to address the issue.
But I'm telling you, it's a serious problem we face, and it's something that we're going to have to deal with. The whole mental health issues in our institutions is getting out of control. And the meeting with the Ministry of Health and Minister Tufton and myself and the team to look at this issue will be taking place shortly.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
There has been a glimmer of hope for some in Denham Town who were only a few days ago mourning the deaths of a 3-year-old and his father who were gunned down in the area. The gloom was tempered when their political representatives stepped in. Nika Lewis tells us more.
Not pointing to the sky, but what now has become a symbol of hope. Around 30 to 40 streetlights repaired and erected in Denham Town, Kingston on Saturday. Councillor Dallin Gale says since the tragic passing of the father and son, he and the MP Desmond McKenzie took steps to spark a fresh hope and life among the people.
The Jamaica Public Services here, where they are renewing the streetlight that were out for a while, pruning some trees that were hanging over the streetlights, so persons can feel a more sense of safety walking in the night, because the streets were more jet dark. Yes, so
how many street lights were out?
I would say across the community with defects and all of that, I would have estimated to like a 30 to 40 street light estimated that were out across the community.
Even what was the recent crime scene felt the effect of light.
There was a post, but it was defective, so they have repaired that one as well, and the persons in that vicinity is also really appreciative of the intervention.
A seemingly small gesture to some, but with widespread positive impact on many who call this community home.
I'm feeling a bit better because the street is bright up, but than how it was before, and the cleanup, they're doing a good job. What was it like? Me did scared. I'm afraid for walk at night.
But no?
Now I can't walk because the light is on the street.
It was very dark at night. And very dark. So sometimes I was praying long ago to see if the street lights and them could fix so that they have more clarity of seeing the road or anybody walking on the road.
Okay, no, it's being fixed by the MP and the council. How do you feel about it?
I'm very happy about it.
It's an answered prayer, a cleanup initiative, a fun day Sunday, and heightened security presence for an extended period.
Since Saturday, there were a 72-hour curfew that come to end Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning rather. But since then, persons taking time out on the street, I must say a big thanks to the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the JDF for their increased presence in the community. So persons feel that sense of reassurance that the ground is a bit safe because they are here more in numbers.
More police and soldiers?
Yeah, man. So more police and soldiers. The divisional headquarters have sent in more police to support the zone of special operation, rather, and their initiative in the zone itself.
He also praised the locals for their support of the police so far. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
It's time now for a break, but stay with us for a live interview when we come back.
The morning. Elegance isn't just seen, it's sensed. Set on Jamaica's north coast, the Montego Bay Convention Center rises with intention. A space designed to inspire, connect, and lead. Polished, purpose-built, poised for what's next. Step into a venue where scale meets serenity, where openness isn't just a design, it's a philosophy. This is more than a venue. This is where vision checks in.
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Brought to you by Horizon, a new loan product from Access Financial Services.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. Now, rising tensions between the United States and Iran are once again affecting global markets, with growing concerns about potential disruptions to oil supply. Joining us now on Zoom to talk about the implications, we have economist Professor Andre Haughton. Good afternoon, Professor, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good afternoon to you too. Good afternoon to your listeners as well.
First of all,
joining you live from my econ statistics class.
And we see your students behind you. Thanks so much, students, for allowing our viewers to talk to, or myself and our viewers to hear from Professor this afternoon. No, Prof, first of all, your initial reactions to what's happening right now between the U.S. and Iran.
You see, what's going on now, we've expected since last year. I mean, the back and forth with the tension between the United States and China and the Middle East has been forthcoming. And when geopolitical tensions like these rise, it tends to have a negative effect on commodity prices. In this case, oil is at the forefront, and also trade moving across the Hormuz corridor is also at risk. So we've seen a lot of global tension taking place, and it's going to have huge implications for not just countries in the Middle East or countries in Europe, but also for us here in the Western Hemisphere of the world.
So speaking of oil and implications, exactly how quickly could we see oil prices rising, especially here in Jamaica? Could fuel prices be affected? And if so, how quickly could we see this change happening?
I mean, the global oil prices are currently recalibrating as we speak, because as you know, oil is a traded commodity on a lot of platforms globally. And with this in place, there is inevitably going to be a reduction in overall supply, and as a result, there's always going to be a change in price whenever supply is lowered. As it relates to Jamaica, I don't know, it might happen instantaneously, meaning in the next week or so, or it might take some time depending on how much reserves we've already built up. But as you recognize where this global tension is hitting the world now, it is going to cost us, and it is going to cost us dearly. As for Jamaica, remember, we do not produce oil, and oil is an important input into our production processes. So you're talking about us now have to find more foreign currency from the net international reserves in order to purchase these additional costs, or the barrels that cost additional because of this war. And as a result, it's going to have huge implications, not just for the cost of living domestically, but also our balance of payments metrics. We already have our imports being almost 4 times our exports. And the last time Jamaica was derailed and put in a bad balance of payment position was in the 1970s as a result of the first and second oil price shocks. And since then, our productivity has not recovered.
So we see where the Caribbean is heavily dependent on imported energy, as you suggested just now. Are regional economies prepared, though, to absorb this kind of spike that we might see in the oil prices?
I mean, the typical reserve position, as you know, is always 12 to 16 weeks of goods in the reserve. Jamaica, we've been different because we have been trying to appease the global international community by amassing large amounts of reserves. So we have over $4 billion US here. But remember, this is now giving the Caribbean a reasonable ground to introspect and to say, who are we as a sovereign nation? As a regional bloc, if the Caribbean were supposed to come together, it would improve a lot of our ability to cope with these external shocks. For one, we have oil producers here in the Caribbean, and if we were supposed to leverage them and to get oil from them through some sort of bilateral agreement, whether through CARICOM yes or through CARICOM no, then that would appease a lot of the tension that we are expected to face in the Caribbean. But you see this global war that is taking place, it is important because what it does, it is now putting into perspective where the world is and where the world is headed. And the Caribbean must recognize this. Our leaders must recognize that we do not live in isolation. And as a result, we have to revisit these CARICOM agreements as it relates to the movement of goods, the movement of people, and the movement of finance. Because we have to now recognize, what does Jamaica have that Trinidad needs? What does Trinidad have or Guyana have that Jamaica needs? What does Barbados need? And then we put these needs on a table and see how can we satisfy these needs within the regional bloc first, so that this out of region events have less negative effect on us. I mean, since Venezuela, the Caribbean has been at a disadvantage if you recognize what has been happening with Cuba, and the Prime Minister had to come out in defense of Cuba, because no matter your political philosophy, no matter your political inclination, Cuba has played an important role in assisting Jamaica to be where it is in terms of its developmental path. A lot of our hospitals and a couple schools have been built by Cuba. And the situation is getting even more pervasive now, because it is getting closer to home, because the globe is now a threat for World War III.
So, Prof, the oil prices, if we see them surging for a long time, could this possibly reverse some of the economic gains that Jamaica would have achieved post-COVID?
Yes. You see, COVID is what is considered to be a negative external shock. The hurricanes that we faced, Beryl in 2024 was also a negative external shock. Melissa that we faced last year was also a negative external shock.